Here's a nice story I think you'll like. It takes place in New York in the 1920s, and if you had any hopes of being a performer or a writer, this, in those days, was the place to be, the place to be. A young vaudeville hoofer becomes friends with a man who is hired to play the piano in shop windows. They used to call them song pluggers in those days, to encourage the customers to buy their sheet music. Well, when the dancer wasn't on stage performing with his sister, which will give you a hint about where we're going, he and this particular piano player would discuss their dreams together. They were really compatible because the dancer always wanted to star in musical comedies and the piano player wanted to write musical comedies. Wouldn't it be great, the musician used to say, if we could someday work on the same musical together? I'll write it and you can be the star. Well, it sounds just like the kind of a story that Hollywood would film, but this one wasn't made by a screenwriter. The dancer's name was Fred Astaire. The piano player was the George Gershwin. As you've probably guessed by now, they both got their wishes. They worked together many times over the years, at first on Broadway and later on in films. Now, today's movie, Shall We Dance, was the only Fred Astaire Ginger Rogers musical for which George and Ira Gershwin would compose the entire score. Not only did Gershwin get his wish in the end to write the music that Fred Astaire would dance to, but he also gave us two of his most enchanting songs. The score for Shall We Dance includes Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, you know, you like tomatoes, I like tomatoes, etc., in which Fred and Ginger tap dance, incidentally, on roller skates. And They Can't Take That Away From Me, which was nominated for an Oscar as Best Song in 1937. Here's Fred and Ginger in Shall We Dance.